Yo, on scene, we against the beast, we getting green, no fiend. You know what I mean? Truth emerges up from the east. On team, we forever against the beast. You know what I mean? Shine a light on them and burn the hidden schemes, know what I mean? We against the beast, we waking through deceptive dreams, know what I mean? I'm like a beam, yeah, I'm like a beam. See what I mean? Getting to the green. This ain't a dream, we out the dream. Yeah, we get 10 to the green. Getting green, yeah, we get 10 green. This what I mean. We ain't talking about a dirty law, but are you sure? But truth washed up upon the shore, but truth and God. God is a guiding light. He made all the stars, lighting up the dark from afar. What more could one implore? I don't even want to know anymore. We already fuck. Get 10 green, nah mean. Just tell the devil, never mind, bitch, nah mean. It's the beast in this bitch, nah mean. The truth emerges from the east, nah mean. We shine a light on these schemes, nah mean. Preventing the ODs and the poor self-esteem. We preventing the systems trying to block the rise of the cream. They tripping all the time, they still losing in these streets. I know they listening, we getting green. They just content for making memes. A pissy that cares beyond their seems not mean. She humming, she on the backboard like yo mean. I'm coming again, last time I went ping ping. This time we more than friends, I chin. I think you having two on twin. I can whisper ancient stories in your ear, nah mean. Turn on the cosmic light so things is crystal clear. I might bite the lobe of your ear, nah mean. Soon as I seen you, I knew I wanted you to come here, nah mean. Look how the haters crying, acting like it ain't fair. I'm tracing the lines of a silhouette from the rear, I'm seen in the twilight's gleam. Facts unfolding on stream is what I mean, but maybe it's the way you glean. We only left with the night, now let's figure out what we mean. Let's bring the truth to light, nah I mean they can't win their way out of a fight. Nah I mean they couldn't steal information to be any competition. What that mean? I guess God got the last laugh. Nah I mean I guess God got the best sense of humor. On team, we against the beast, you know what I mean? Truth emerges up from the east. On team, we forever against the beast, nah I mean. Shine a light on them, burn the hidden schemes, nah I mean. And all these and the poor stuff for the human team. We against the beast, you know what I mean? Truth emerges up from the east. On team, we forever against the beast, nah I mean. Shine a light on them, burn the hidden schemes, I mean. We are against the beast, we waking through deceptive dreams. I'm like a beam, oh yeah, like a beam, nah I mean. Say what I mean, this ain't green, this ain't green. This ain't a dream, we out the dream. Yeah, we get 10 to the green.
Banging on that beast dead. I know them heathen. Scary, scary, scary. Banging on that beast dead. I know them heathen. Scary, scary, scary. They numbers don't even scare me. Scary. I'm banging on that beast dead. This don't happen rarely. I know your fools are scary. They ain't the ones like fairies. Chopping down wood like cherry pies. I can see it in their eyes. These hoes don't like straight guys. It's no wonder, no surprise. No, it's no wonder, no surprise. No, banging on that beast day. I know them heathen. Scary, scary, scary. They numbers don't even scare me. Scary. I'm banging on that beast day. It ain't a mystery, the reason y'all not feeling me. I don't get down with skis, we don't lay down with sleeves. So they used to get good grades, stay away from the sex disease. We chopping the heads of the wicked, it's cleaning the university degrees. Y'all go ahead and put a curse on the evil ladies. Them grift to the church, synagogues and Moscow streets. The grab me and split and make them fall in for all the sin. Banging on that beast day. I know them heathen. Scary, scary, scary. They numbers don't even scare me. Scary. I'm banging on that beast day. It ain't a mystery, the reason y'all not feeling me. I don't get down with skis. We don't lay down with sleaze. Tell the youth to get good grades, stay away from the sex disease. We chopping the heads of the wicked, it's cleaning the university's degrees. Chopping with a head and put a curse on the evil ladies. Them grift to the church, synagogues and Moscow streets. The ground we split and make them fall in for all the sin. Banging on that beast day. I know them heathens.
All praise to the Creator. Thank you, Holy Father, for another day. Please continue to bless and protect us. Let your enemies be destroyed, etc., instead of us. Let them be the sacrifice. We rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus Christ using this Ethernet to bang on the beast. Hey, yo, shout out to General Seti for that motto, man. You know what I mean? I'm giving credit when credit is due. But this is a 100% original slideshow. Been working on it for like a day. Yesterday, I had like three or four false starts. Just couldn't, But here we're gonna watch and we're gonna look at the two slides, and we're gonna see what type of additions, what type of editing, then we can make it even a crispier experience. Let's get right to it. The name of this video is America, the Land of the Rising Sun. So I'm redoing some videos I did a couple years back because they're not really up there. And so I need to do them. I should do them just so that it could be available. You know, proof the Aborigines built all these so-called Tartarian buildings is another topic that is, it's kind of like loosely connected to this. And so here you got this concept of the Mayans and their wall and the defacing of the people here. And so, attributes and traits that could resemble and point out a direct connection to so-called African Americans or indigenous Aboriginal population of the United States. And is pointed out here, and the fact that whoever's there now are defacers. And so just the other day, you had this news story show up where they found an ancient graffiti artist from Hindustan marking up one of the places over in Egypt. So about from 4,000 years ago, people was writing their name, talking about I was here and shit on shit that wasn't theirs. And so when you look at the beef that some people from the Puerto Rican community had created over their place in hip hop, and then if you live by any inner city areas and you see the graffiti, or that area created by people, you got people that run in them areas late at night, marking up the walls. And so the concept of defacing things, the concept of putting up graffiti, the concept of being a vandalism expert literally comes from vandals, right? And their genetics and their descendants, that they were originally called Slavics because of their original role when the people who get the face now was ruling things. And so in the Mayan Americas, you get the face knocked down. In Egypt, you get their nose knocked off. But only people that know my channel is hip to anything dealing with the Japanese. But the Japanese actually played a very, I would say, a very intricate role in the American underworld prior to World War II. And so prior to World War II, when America and the Japanese became sworn enemies, the Japanese had a lot of dealings in the mafia side of things They had created scams for African Americans to go out to telling African Americans that they should leave America and they should come back to the Pacific where they could be given land and women. And a lot of African Americans sent their money to these Japanese people. It was a grand scheme. Like the Japanese people or whoever did that, the Yakuza, they made so much money off Black people in the United States, telling them that they was going to support them in this system where it was clearly against them. And so that same organization was behind W.D. Fard and him starting the Nation of Islam after creating a splinter group from the Moorish Science Temple of America after Noble Drew Ali mysteriously went. And so the Yakuza got a hidden hand involvement in the Nation of Islam, and W.D. Fard was arrested for human sacrifice and then basically told to leave town and never show up again or he'll be given those charges. And so the Nation of Islam has started off the spilling of a Black man's blood. And W.D. Fard walked around telling people that he was Jesus reincarnated. And then after Noble Drew Ali died, he said that he was Noble Drew Ali reincarnated, which is definitely not how reincarnation works. But in the proof that he was a grifter. And it's just a satanic spell that Black men and women are under, and children are under, when they show their fealty to the Nation of Islam, who actually, for the record, believe that the Prophet Muhammad was a white man, who, for the record, called a white man Allah in the flesh, and who, for the record, signed up to Scientology, a cult created by a white man. And so there is no sane reason why anyone can claim the Nation of Islam other than the fact that they grew up in it. They know a lot of people that's good people involved with it. They had a fair, reasonable experience, things like that. And so that's the chrysanthemum throne. The chrysanthemum throne. Another thing about Japan. Japan is the only nation in the world with an emperor. And so technically they can be seen as the only empire or the only nation in the world in which the emperor and empress reside, which is, we know that's fake, because the Japanese people to this day practice making their hair look nappy. They imitate all the Africans or all the African Americans, and their language, I got African language in it. You got places like Edo that's in Nigeria, and then you got the Edo period of Japan. There's a whole lot, there's a litany of things that make sense along those lines where we can make clear connections to the Japanese from Africa. But what we're going to emphasize today is the connections to America. We could always use the truth that we find in Africa after research to demolish anything any hatred spewing racist Gentile nation could come at us with. The concept of America is so much of a higher degree of knowledge that it's just a matter of you're going in a complete direct opposite direction of mainstream media, academia, and scholarship worldwide, because there's no investment or need for people in India or the Middle East or anywhere to say, I want to know if the Americans is being lied, if this shit is a lie. They don't care. And that is why they call Gentile nations. Only people who accepted, who were repented and accepted Christ will be acceptable to the Father in heaven. And that's a very small percentage in the world. The world is ran by the devil, and we can see examples of that anywhere we look. And so here is an ancient example of what later became the state flag for Japan. Isn't that interesting? America, sun god name is Konnichiwa. And when a person greets another person in Japan, they say konnichiwa. And Japan is known to the world under this spell as the land of the rising sun. But in actuality, America is the land of the rising sun. So we're going to examine how the Freemasons in the United States are white supremacist groups. The proof of this is the fact that recently Freemasonry in the United States voted against recognizing the Prince Hall Freemasons as real Masons. And what that did was say that Black people are still second-class citizens, even if they are fellow fraternity members. And so that's saying that give us your money and shut the fuck up is what white people just said to all Black Freemasons. Because as long as they pay those dues and those due money gets sent up, passed through different hands, a percentage of that shit ends up in the same place white people's Freemasonry money goes. And so because the Grand Lodge of England makes billions of dollars each year based on royalty or collection plate, the collections of all members, it is, Freemasonry is the largest male fraternity in the world, and it's the oldest. And they've been fundraising for who knows what, for who knows how long. But at least we know that nothing really originates with our enemies. You'll always find them copycatting, parasiting, stealing, robbing, imitating. They're doing something like that. Because to be honest, martial arts started in Africa. So you can start with the stick fighting, and you can follow stick fighting from the deep regions of dark Africa all the way across the Middle East, all the way into India, and all the way into China, where the use of the stick is consistent. And so wrestling and martial arts as we know it, with the weapons, originated in Africa. Africa has the most diverse versions of swords in the world. People have swords, but when you look at China, they are the source of anything Europe ever has. And if China is originally initiated by Africans, so to speak, then that would explain without problem the true lineage of the timeline. So now what we're looking at here is the Shotokan Karate Lodge. This is the one and only connection from a Freemasonry lodge, which claims to be all about peace and brotherhood and all the good stuff so they don't get turned into the police and stuff. All that good stuff is now has an exo or an external linkage to a karate lodge. And why is that? Because karate dojos are international hubs that are in secret within any country. And so how would a Japanese or a Chinese agent know what to do and how to link in with the community? They find the local dojos. And they go to one that is really made by an actual Japanese person. And then they have a plug. And that's the secret society. That's the underworld. For other concepts, it might be a pub. It might be a gym. You know what I mean? It's just like a video game. And they have agents everywhere. And this network basically is under the law. All right, they acting like they above the law. This is how shit get covered up. They up here saying Epstein was covered up. They, you know what I mean? We don't know who killed JFK, MLK. We don't know none of that. Why? It's because of groups like this, if not this group itself directly. Now, the logo for the Shotokan Karate is a white tiger. Now, I see that, it's a tiger there, but the white tiger is the official logo for white males in general. And so throughout the Orient, white men who are given a title that is respectable by Orientals is a white tiger, and namely a white Siberian tiger, right? Because the Siberian areas of the world are the only one with the Siberian white tiger. So that white tiger can only be found in Siberia, and they link that to white men according to today's situation. So white men in the United States, Freemasons, they're white tiger, they are Shotokan. See that? Now, so a lot of people are used to the narrative that things happen in a step-by-step succession, but the gods created many different type of people for many different type of reasons, all at the same time. So it's really no use of trying to, be that specific. What we can tell is that they definitely talking about elongated skullage, and this is two continents, and they will have us believe that that vast ocean was such a barrier that it was only up until recently that these people had contact with each other, but that's definitely not the case. And regardless of all that, we got it where we got it where the traditions of these people before they even met are major clues to pattern recognize an idea that is overlooked or ignored by mainstream media academia. And so this concept of a big head, now a person might say, well, Red Squid, that's just how they drew shit. Nah, they definitely knew when was too big and what was too small, especially if they're the ones drawing such an important work. And so the exaggeration denotes that this shit was like really extreme on some people, right? Or that these people have that, or they have that because of. And so these hats and shit, they all talking about ancient concepts that exist. And so just like these images here, they all are showing essentially the same being, right? But it's three different versions of the being. A lot of people don't reference hairy people with any other race but what we think is white people. But what you see over there is a concept saying that the Nordics talking about a black beast man over there on the left, because that right there is from Scandinavia. And that's probably the darkest thing that they ever drew. And they wouldn't draw it as like a black person. They'd say that those black Jews are devils, and they be having beards and dreads and shit. And that's what that symbol is, y'all. That's what that symbol is. And so look, in the middle, you got Jiminy the Cricket, and he represent an Aboriginal pygmy black man because he green. And according to ancient depictions, green and blues also meant black skin. So check it. Reds and browns was also, copper colored skins too. Check it. But the green represent the whole plant era. And so the knowledge of that is already in the skin, etc. And so it wasn't about race. It was about what role you played in society together. So it's like how we could take the Pinocchio would be like, it would be Kevin Hart and some tall basketball. That's how Hollywood would do it. And it's disrespectful, right? And then meanwhile, they do this type of shit. So now they talking about they want to kidnap people, children and little girls. And they over there is using the Hollywood, which is a magic wand according to the Druids. They're using those type of creative powers to like support the same racist stinking, hating ass, negative pedophiles and murderers and all this. Like, they're the mob, right? The mob run the world, so why wouldn't the mob run the country? And so one thing that we would have connected to the mob would be knowledge. Like, we would know certain things if we study or if we learn. And so the top of the mob, they all voodoo practitioners. Like, they seek witches and sorcerers and sorceresses and all that, shamans, and they look to those people to guide them. And so they look for soothsayers and false prophetesses and shit, oracles and shit like that. And so look, this shit right here, this the shit they put over their eye. And so why the fuck? That's like a shitty eye, right? It'd be like a shitty eyeball. If that's the same shit that they be talking about when they be like that, then it's an asshole, right? Because ain't that what the root? Listen, man, it say the base of the spine and shit, man. That's too close for comfort, man. Like, they talking about that part. Like, that shit look like they talking about the asshole for sure. Like, what the fuck is they doing? Right? That's what it looked like to me, man. I'm just saying, it looked goofy, man, when you see the people with doing it. Like, that's crazy. Like, you gotta make sure to have the asshole eyeball. I'm thinking that's panda eyes. You got panda eyes. It's a panda eye. It's one panda eye. Well, that's 3 panda eyes. I don't care. It's like, if I see somebody doing it, I'm not going to do the shit too. I'm too original for that, man. It was like, yo, I was going to give you this $1 million, but I ain't see you nowhere doing this type shit. Like, I'm not trying this. Hey, let's check this out. The hand of God, the hand of man, the machine that does, the medium that brings about. God bless and protect us, and let our enemies and servants be destroyed. So deity is deferred to. Deity is deferred to. And no curse at all, man. Shield up. The divine perfected, corrected. The pervious shield is up. Left side is perish off, man. Pervious shields is up. Man. All right. I had to fix this blunt. So, yeah, these are different ways. I'm gonna have to go faster, man. It's the concepts. Like, this is the part where they talking about the Confederation of Galactic Aliens and shit like that. Like, listen, man, they've been technology to create avatars. People just trying to fool you, telling you an image to believe in them so you could get them money. This shit talking about the center of the world. Obviously, this is the swastika, that is the surface of the world, right? And so this is under the world. This is the Atlas holding up the world, because Atlas is a giant. And so they using this hand symbolism to try to talk to humans, but trying to tell them some lies or something that will mislead them when it's all just occultism. And so here it is, where there's all this sciences practiced and taught to people about what the hand do and what the hand is. And the Chinese mob is called the hand. And so they're talking about the Chinese mob. They're talking about Asian mob. The Asian mob be on this type of shit. The Asian mob is like occult spiritualists of darkness on another level. And it just don't make sense of trying to compete with anybody like that. Like trying to compete with, trying to make them, see them as, they special, like God is greater than all of this. But you see, this is all these different, this a cave wall, god dang. It's like from cave wall to Arabic art to channeling groups and all them joints and all them, that, because that's how the occultic in America, this started with channelers. And channelers is that basically like trying to conjure demons and shit, right? And so let's go back to this meatball. So Bond. So that community amongst people that say that they channel star beings, that they is you know, channeling, I don't know what they saying they do. I don't never study that shit. But I did remember seeing it back in the early 2001, 2002. I remember seeing the intergalactic server, and it had all that type of stuff. And like you can still go there now, and shit still say the same shit. They got some articles that was there back in 2001 and shit like. But it was like people was just going up there, putting up information, fake ass pictures, right? But they all saying the same shit. They running the same type symbolisms. That's Oddfellows glove, the Oddfellows. And so look, they go America with the cross and then a fire, and then they got these fasces, right? When you see these things in Europe, they've called fasces, right? When you see this shit in Africa, there's fasces, right? These are fasces. Europe, Rome really used them a lot. They still use them to this day. When you see Abraham Lincoln, he's got these two fasces. That's what they call them. And so it's a code. It could be, I think it's a gun. I think it could be rocket. I think it could be, you know what I mean? They saying they lighten something. Like, you know, the flintlock matchlock rifles was some real shit back in the day. And so look, they talking about the whole world. And so check it. They're talking about the whole world when they got them symbols. You saw the symbol? All right. Right. And so here it is, where this is Spain. But I want you to think about how the dang on Ku Klux Klan in the United States and Canada exist, right? Heavy in Canada. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Klan, white power, white supremacy build up in population in certain areas so that they could be terrorists on America. See, it's one thing to be like thinking it, but it's another thing to actually do it. And it just would not be, none of that would work. Like, America is too integrated with being one people for that type of shit to work. So they got these outdated plans, like they gonna just as a race take some shit over. But they don't got no spunk in them. They ain't got nothing for them really to do that for, because they got land, they got population. Ain't white people is not getting X'd out of existence. Right. And so when you see it in Spain like this, what you're seeing is the continuation from Slavic concepts. So this is the first time we're going to have to break out and go and bring up a picture. I'm gonna bring up a picture of a Mongolian warrior costume. They're going, you know what? Well, it's along those lines. See, when I say costume, they bring up this fake shit. So let's see what it looks like. Mongolian warrior. So they had this type of let's see if I just put Mongolian in there. Yeah, then that's all too. That's at the end of the page too. Yeah. Interesting. So that picture that used to be the It used to be a go-to picture that would show up all the time. Now it don't show up. All right, forget about it. So the Mongolians would be the next people beyond this picture on the right. This picture on the right is over there beyond Ukraine. Right? It's over there. So once you get into the Russia area, what's beyond that is Siberia, Mongolia. And so the Mongolians got masks that look just like the Ku Klux Klan, is what I wanted to show y'all. But here you have it where when you progress from Siberia over, you got this use of this cross, and all of these people wear the same cross. Because that's not really a cross, it's a sword. And so how these people see themselves is coming from Siberia, which come from the North Pole, which come from the hole in the North Pole, which come from the hollow world, right? And so this is how far they made it using this sword. This is they represent with the sword now, right? And so when you see the Micmac flag, it has a sword with a crescent and star on it. It's a red blood sword. And so they're saying that they conquered using it, their form of Islam or some other shit. Like they're trying to like, they don't really care. They're saying that they came through, and that's the Micmac now. They could be Mick or Mac. And so this is just them saying that they came through with the sword, because who else did they kill besides black folks? Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't mean for nobody else, because black people was running shit in Asia, the India, the Middle East, the Pacific Islands, America, Europe, Africa. Like, damn, where is white people from? But is that for real? That shit ain't, it's not what they say it is. Like, if you see that miracle at Fatima, it looked like them people was dropped off by the sun or whatever light that was. They could have used the sun as a portal and was really transported them meatballs from the hollow earth that got their own sun. And so the two suns, the hollow earth sun and our world sun, right, could be like a connector to from here to the surface to the hollow earth. And so you got this big population of people that come under the pretense that they is with us, and then they betray us. But they don't just betray us, they betray us everywhere in the world that we at. And they try to flip the script, right? And they built on it. They built on it, I think, by studying a map. And they infiltrated. And they had the light-skinned people help them. The mulattoes and shit. The little hybridos. Like, let's see, this is the hairy man. This is the red-haired hairy man. Go back to the damn beast man. But what he got a damn suit of armor on, yo. And what does that mean? So shit, that means that it's warfare when you see this flag and this coat of arms, and it's disrespectful. And they talking about Israelites. They're not talking about no Muslims. They're not talking about no Muslims. And so that's proof, because they saying the Micmac got the red cross and the crescent and star on there. So you know it ain't really Muslim. It's not a thing that they lying about what that stuff is. Like, even the concepts of Moors and shit that they show is not Muslims. Look at this. This is talking about the earth, the four corners of the earth. That's what the circle and the cross mean. That's a worldwide symbol. The Credo Mutwal got one of these. A Japanese situation got the same symbol, so it's used by everybody, and they claiming this shit. This shit on my mind. So what the fuck is that? So nobody got no place like this. There's no place in the world that's like Adidas Ababa. Oh no, what's the name of this place? Well, Ethiopia, right? The Ethiopian, man, they locked themselves away, said they had the covenant. They got somebody on it, security 24/7. Yeah, nobody got this. Nobody got this one. So it's like, shit, what's going on here? So this the Ethiopia, and then this is somewhere over there by on Greenland and Sweden and Denmark and shit. They're not really close to each other, but I'm just saying. Somewhere, I think it's an island somewhere over there by Norway and Sweden. Like I know it's over there by Norway and Sweden, and I'm sure it's an island. I think, but I'm not sure. Either way, it's over there in Scandinavia. Scandinavia, the same place you see all these crosses. Maybe we'll see it there. Let's see. I don't see it. But yeah, over here where they got all these crosses. Look, each country got a cross. Look, Bear Island. See, they're the Bear Clan. They're the Bear people. They connected to the Japanese Ainu people because they worship the bear, but they worship sacrificing the bear because they believe the bear has a human spirit, which also is a belief Native Americans have, that bears and people is connected like that. Same thing. You know what I'm saying? And human spirit and all that. So anyways, the point here is that it's no real, it's, you know what I mean? It's like I see them. Ain't no way they can get out of that. You know what I'm saying? Look how God is great. You know what I mean? They ain't got nothing to speak to this over there in their place that they claiming is where they from. So it's like, come on, man. God put a stamp there, and then look what they did to the place. This right here is just crazy to me because these people talking about in the name of the line of Judah when a person becomes a third degree Mason and shit. But these meatballs is you know what I mean? They ain't got shit to do with scripture, right? Acting as scum of the earth. So it's like it behooves me that they, first of all, they're not supposed to be taking no oaths. And we was banging on them back in the days of Christ. That's why Christ said, take this bread, it's my flesh, take this cup of wine, it's my blood. Because they was doing drinking of blood and eating people cannibalism back then, thinking it was going to give them powers and make them stronger and make them, give them victory. And so Christ was saying that shit ain't real, man. Don't worry about having to do that with me, type shit, right? And so if people don't repent, they'll be destroyed. All praises to the Creator. And that's facts figgity. They ain't got nobody even say no shit like that. Like real talk. Like if those words was a foot, I'll step on them all with just that. But it's like a joke though. You got to understand and play it out. Like God got the last laugh. People got the last laugh. And so if they the ones trying to laugh at us now, they trying to laugh at people now, man. So yeah, I see how they think they the ish, but they're not. They will really, really do their hair just like this and act like they the ones. And then you know what? They will avoid conversation about this topic you see on the right. Like, what about this man right here? Is he not? He didn't get no respect. You know what they did? They came up with hip hop, which means twerking. because hips hopping is twerking, and Nas is on stage with Little Nas X. So that means that when we saw Little Nas X, it was a play on Nas. I don't know what Little Nas X origin story to his name is, but they got Nas and him on the same stage. I know Nas ain't shit. I know Nas ain't shit. Hey, look, at the end of the day, we're able to connect Aboriginal people of the surface world to not only ancient artifacts, paintings, and art, but also structures, including statues. And I'm out here like telling y'all that this shit with the Moors, they wasn't Muslims. They wasn't Muslims first. At first, like that whole Muslim shit. Come on, man. All of those different religions are distractions. Look, the San people don't even gotta twist their shit up. The San people hair naturally grow like that. The dude up there, the hair naturally made dreads. Naturally made dreads. Shorty at the bottom left got them joints done, right? But the point is still the same. Who twists their hair in knots? You know what I mean? Like, don't nobody else got that tradition of doing that. It's just crazy how people want to continue on and act like that shit ain't real. Like, I love the truth. You know what I'm saying? And so look, it's a joy. Check it out. That's exactly what we see there. And don't that look like Keenan Ivory Wayans? That's crazy. Because when you take the W from Wayans and flip it upside down, it makes Mayans. And this is a Mayan truth that is hidden now. And is it that these rich oligarchy dragon families run things and be the famous celebrities and all this and that? Because look, that's facts figure. That's exactly what dreads look like when they cut. And so you ain't never see an ancient depiction of dreadlocks outside of the Mayan people. Nowhere. You don't see no Europeans recording and they had dreads and this how they look. You ain't see no Chinese people recording and then they had dreadlocks and this how they look. You ain't see no Hindu, Indian say, look, they got dreadlocks, this how they look. You ain't never see them where they said the Middle Eastern definitely ain't say no shit like that. But they be saying that the people is Moors, like they Arabs. That shit a lie, yo. And so it's an Israelite lie, a lie on Israel. Because they the ones out there faking the phone now, claiming to be everything else. Farrakhan ain't do a goddamn thing. Who cares about what Farrakhan's super hard-headed ass talking about? Like real shit. He grifted the shit out of people that was involved. And so now that community can just self-feed itself and grow itself. It's automation. Farrakhan had automated a black cult to the point where it's always going to be they're the new Jews. There's always these type of people. They're separate from everyone else. They do shit differently. You know what I'm saying? And look at how the so-called Jews is doing now. They got all type of pedophilia part of their traditions and their culture. These people grow up being perverts and touching other people and shit. Like that's now known as their tradition and their culture. Generations and generations of them practicing Satanism got it to where they the ones with the bad genes. They the ones known for the most disgrace-like actions and behavior, the most low vibrational frequency having, the most gutter-brained, the most, disrespectful, profane type of language and approach and things like that. Like they want to sexualize God or being in the presence of God. And they want, they think that they can have orgasmic sex with God and sex with God and approach everything profanely. And there's nothing holy about them. And so they reject it because God did not get down like that. Right? The same type of slutty, whorish ways that people use on others is not going to work on the Heavenly Father or his angels or his saints or his people that is, you know what I'm saying, conscious, man. Real talk. Like, it's a mental, spiritual, and a physical war. You see that against the black woman with the chemicals in their head. Ain't nobody say about that shit. Still, that's not like a major point. You got bitches like this. You just got people out there all acting like they're effeminate demons now, right? The whole time, what people had went through something in which the women from their nation or their group of people was attacked through chemical warfare, specifically targeting their hair, their bodies, you know what I mean, their concepts of anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and now, right? Like, you think it's normal, like, yo, real talk. You see how they got it, where people used to say they don't need these kids nowadays are faster than the kids back when I was younger, right? People say the kids are too fast nowadays, right? The kids is grown up. They put some in the water now. They look like they're maturing faster nowadays. Now they got it to where you got these women, they grew up to be women and had put what in them? All type of silicone, all type of fake filaments and things like that. And so now young people is growing up seeing people like Cardi B get on stage like she's in night gear, she in sexy lingerie, but she performing. What's that girl? The girl was 19 or 20, and she went on one of them red carpets somewhere, and she basically had nothing on. She had on like some see-through everything, and she like a little slut, a little hoe, like a little piece of you know what I mean, like she's a piece of meat, and she put herself out there. And who knows? You see that them celebrities' children is just like the groomed ones. And so think about it. Rich people children is the groomed ones. And so think about it. Connected people children is the groomed ones. All right. So think about it. People that is, you know what I mean, somehow some other variant version. And all of these people get together and they be in the same social circles. And they want to promote only things that would strengthen them as a social community. And so when Raekwon said my seed marry his seed, then they have seeds or some shit he said. He was talking about my kids, or you know what I mean, is going to, merge with another family member's not family member, but how would I say it? Like somebody's kids arranged marriages, where it's like, I'm gonna put my money in that these kids go and marry somebody a part of that money. So I know that for sure they're both gonna be straight with money and power and ruler. And so like ancient bloodlines did this. And that's why you had exotic mixes was only for hierarchy and shit. For the elites. You know what I'm saying? And so here you can see dreadlocks. So man, I mean, don't nobody have a custom in anywhere south of America, the border, in which you see dreadlocks any amongst them people that's there now. And the reason that is because they are now they are descendants of invasions that came from a portal somewhere down there, and they just start to inhabit the land. You know what I mean? I kind of want to think of it like making popcorn, right? Let's say we was making popcorn. You know how the popcorn start to grow, and it's like, damn, maybe I put too much popcorn in there, and it just started to overflow with popcorn. It's like that with people, right? To the point to where it was like the people that got totally mixed out, right? And so now you got a lot of light-skinned brown people, or not even that. You got some dark-skinned, but it's few dark-skinned south of the Bordeans. They exist though, but you know, a lot of that shit could be imports and come later, but it is what it is, man. You got the ancient artifacts showing that there was multitudes of different types of people here. It had different type of heads, different type of noses. When you look up the Olmec statues, you'll see that they look like they had a human farm. Like they was really making people, because you got so many different type of people, right? That's documented. And you know, giants, white giant people too, is known from over here off them ancient artifacts. So according to them ancient artifacts, man, white people definitely was out here as a pre-human, and they was basically tussling with them dinosaurs. And so dinosaurs exist because they got footprints fossilized next to human footprints. And so we don't need to question that shit, right? And so there's evidence to show that them dinosaurs was out here, but it could have been people put together just to take them on, or to like dilute their population. Some people say that that's what them asteroids was, but I got a different idea about that. That particular war, with the reason of asteroids and craters, wasn't just to kill the dinosaurs, but it was to basically wage war on the original people of the surface lands in which them asteroids hit. So there's a show on Netflix called The Sandman, and on season 2 it begins with the destruction of a black kingdom because of an asteroid. And so that is blatantly them telling us what I had already proposed to be true years earlier. So it's, to me, it's confirming what I'm saying, because they the cult of the rich, and they're the ones that come up with all the details that they do, and they chose whatever they chose, it was backing up something I already assumed. And so the asteroids was shot from a distance. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over that real quick, because I got the picture already. I ain't gotta look for it. So this Russian dude came out with some shit back in the 80s. And so when you look up the term Hyperborea, you could find him amongst that community, because he came out in the early 80s and he was doing a bunch of stuff that was what he called Hyperborea. And so he basically came up with a bunch of photos. A lot of them was like a lot of them looked so that it looked like it was photogenic. Like there was photos that became colorized with like crayon. That's how it looked. So it looked like they was living like this, like a Christmas off wherever they from, right? That they shit look like Christmas. They look like gingerbread houses and shit, like colorful wooden log houses, cabins everywhere. And they all wore colorful clothes, and they walked with reindeers and shit like that. And so amongst one of them paintings, right, was this one that you see at the top left. And when I look at that, I was like, the fuck? Because it show you a whole goddamn on look like coastal region, right? And it's like when I look at it, he's showing Africa and what we call the Sahara Desert, a part of this massive sea inlet that reaches basically up to Egypt. And nobody really knows that's what the land looked like before. So that's cool. And then that island, the archipelago of islands next to Africa is like one main land, and that's Atlantis, perhaps. So what an interesting map that's on that globe that's being used as a targeting system over the ice, the icy top where his hand is at. And so that's an attack on our world by some machine, giant machine, right? That's the hand. That's the hand that's on that globe. Is the hand I had showed. It's a robot, it's a machine, it's a humanoid. It's a humanoid. And so that right there is is what they call an asteroid. There ain't no damn asteroids. That shit is a damn lie. Who knows what the fuck is an asteroid? Like the whole concept of the asteroid belt don't make no damn sense. And anyways, the only thing that makes sense for real is the fact that it was shot from somewhere on Earth. All right. And them craters in the world is mainly in the United States and in Africa and in Australia. Everywhere, mainly dark-skinned people was at. Right. Those are the shots. And so once this happened, them people got on their boats and followed onto these places, man. They must have set up shop somewhere. And they probably was a Tuatha De Danann by then. Right. So there was the fish guys, the sea gods by then, because they had you know what I mean, it took so long to get there. And whatever happened, Iceland stayed on ice. It stayed frozen. So the Iceland or Greenland basically has been under ice since the Ice Age. Since before the Ice Age. So, man, I'm talking about warfare. When did they say that all of the damn old pictures look like they dark and cloudy and shit? So, all right. I think that I had made my point when it comes to this part. So, is that fire? Is that what is this like? Why is it like this? Look at them sharp ears, right? We could trace this back to American artifacts to when they were looking like reptilians. Trace it back all the way to reptilians. Straight up. Should I do that? Let's do it real quick, man. It's only gonna take a second. What am I doing? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Oh yeah, the reptilian. All right. Yeah, look, that look like the same. Look how the mouth is. Oh man, look how the mouth is on the green one and the one on the right. It's like the same mouth. Same mouth, same nose. See the pointy ears, them long pointy ears. Man. So we could trace the lineage back to what we might call pre-human. And so when we see this concept of rulership and conflict, it make a whole nother sense, right? Like what's this Moor's head, they would call it. So now we're going to get into the part about how those are Pacific Islanders somewhere. You see they got blonde hair, yeah. And it's like, why is this such a rare photo? It's because they usually would kill these people. And for some reason we still got a picture of some that they didn't destroy and burn. You know what I'm saying? But they would kill these people off to where they don't see them no more. Because they are traces to the original inhabitants' kingdom. And so here is a piece of art from Germany that showed that they got blonde hair, and white hair is even more older than that. And that so it's a matriarch, and that the kingdom protecting the matriarch is shown with blonde hair. Look at that. Blonde haired people with clothes, a knight armor suit. You know what I'm saying? A crown. They got a crown. And so these are multiple different sources showing something that's rare. But we could even see it on cave paintings that we talking about melanated people with blonde hair. We could see it in ancient artwork of people that no longer run shit. You see this blonde hair, blue eyes, dark skin, with the Anunnaki cone in his hand. So this is the Anunnaki. And so that's related to the Australians, so that make it a Pangea reality. When the lands was one, it went all the way back to that. And so that's why all of these Gentile nations from Peru on the left to Tibet or Korea, that's Korea on the right, I always get them confused. Korea and Tibet. That could be Korea for real. So yeah, Peru though, that's across the Pacific Island. Why would they have blackface in Peru when there's really not any known history? There is a black history there, but they trying to step on the shit. Just like anywhere else in the world, they'll see the black people as the threat. And so why is that they have blonde or gold top? Because they talking about the blonde, they talking about a reality that deal with original people. And so they is against the Aboriginal man of the earth. They are straight against even the weak ones that say they don't have no fight, no dog in the fight, or still spiritually and mentally parasitic and negative. Why have negative people around you for no reason if their soul ain't right, their mind ain't right? Never mind that they're not going to fight you. They still will try to get their licks in because they don't pray to the same God that you pray to. They don't believe in the shit that you believe in. They just trying to get something out of it. And so you will never have like a full completeness if you got those type of people around. And so here go pieces of evidence that they forgot or they didn't have a chance to destroy so we wouldn't have it. But it's indicate that there's been a great effort to kill black, blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. Because we don't even see people that got a little bit of blue eyes. Well, I guess there is some people that do. Black people that got blue eyes. There still is some people that do. And yeah, you know what I mean? I've seen blonde on fuzz on a girl that wasn't white. Yeah, I definitely saw that. Blonde and red on a girl that wasn't white. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Here you got a painting that is called The Unknown King. The Unknown Moorish King. Now, why would this painting be so extravagant? So finely detailed, so definition of artistry. Why would it be unknown? If a man walked around with those type of fine silks and diamonds in the middle of his shirt and all this and that, and he's the king, why would he be unknown or forgotten to where they don't know what to label it? They don't know what to put in the little context for the picture. They don't know. They're not trying to tell you that that's King David or that that's King Solomon. They're not trying to tell you that. So here is Matamoros, which is which means Moor killer. And there's a city called Matamoros, probably less than 100 miles away from the border with Texas in Mexico. And so the Mexican nation celebrates the concept of death every year. They celebrate being clowns also every year. They burn candles to white images that's associated with Catholicism, and they merge their Santeria concepts with the European concepts. They sell a lot of drugs to Europe, and so they got like a good relationship with Europeans, and all their leaders is European Jews mixed in. And you know what I'm saying? A lot of, you know what I mean, the concept of what do you call it, racism towards darker skinned people, just like in China and Asia. If you're from Southeast Asia, the Northern Asians, the Northern Chinese will look at you as like an N-word. And just like in India, where the social class system got it to where that the Aryan, the noble, or the whiter or the lighter skinned people are the nobles and the higher-ups, and the darker the person's skin tone is, the lesser class they are stuck in, like doomed to a social poverty and shit like that, because they dark skinned. They were called the untouchables. So now it's childish, but back then there's a lot of movements that was beyond that. And so here in this picture, if you zoom in, you see there's a crown under that turban. And so there ain't no Islamic crowns. All crowns have crosses on them and are associated with Christian kings or biblical kings. And so this picture shows a man, a white man, with a red cross for a flag, killing this Moor with these white dots or these black dots on his gear and a crown in his turban. And ain't nothing but black people being conquered here, and it's called Matamoros. And so that means that white people came over and warred with black Mayans and started to start up slavery camps in the United States, when really Mexico and Central America and South America was really the bee's knees. Remember, the ice cap extended all the way to like past Illinois and shit. Right. And so those areas most likely was less occupied compared to areas like Mexico and Central America, because Jalisco is an ancient name. Jalisco probably go back to the time of Cain. And so don't nobody really argue, nobody here is really arguing against people because of their race. But I just want to make it be clear that each place on earth depicts a darker skin original inhabitant in their education system, one way or another. And so that is not what is taught in mainstream academia. Is not recognized scholarship. And so by the Freemasons of the United States denying Prince Hall Freemason or denying recognizing them as real Freemasons is like a triple slap to the face, because Prince Hall Freemasonry was created because the whites didn't want to mix in the blacks. That's number one. And number two is that shit was what, 17, 18, 19. That shit was almost just about 300 years ago. And so for them to say that they still don't want them integrated is saying that they still want to be segregated. Right. And so that's showing you that these white folks they just, they don't have no God in them. Right? Because godly people are righteous and they have they don't want all this destruction and shit. But ungodly people feel like there's a need to go out and blow somebody up, and he could have just waged tariffs and used that and hurt people's pockets and made them straighten up and fix the world without dropping one bomb. As a matter of fact, this administration kind of did roll back on things that they said that they wouldn't do. He said he'll be a no war president. And then now he trying to say he need these presidential powers just in case they try to lock him up. So Netanyahu and Trump is on the run, and it's not going to age well for them. There'll never be a statue of Trump because of this war. And God forbid he keeps on recruiting people to do ground war because he haven't given Americans nothing to enjoy. And for him to be sending our troops out to go to war and deplete our population so that more immigrants can come in and take this shit over, it's like, this is how they killing black people. And this is how they killing good people everywhere, by sending people out to go to war for no good reason, just so they just be deployed and off the territory. And then they want to do what they want to do with the territory in the meanwhile. It's a population control concept. And so this picture right here is an example of how this population control concept was used on non-blacks. Since white people is found to be in the test tubes over in the Mayan art, and they're called Slavics over in the European front. When you see a picture like this, they is basically, look, soldiers. They are like the ones throwaways, right? Like the army. Like they created these people, man, for purposes. And the two beings that's ruling each army are dark-skinned, somewhat green beings. So they represent a primordial beginning. And when them primordials start fighting each other, there's a whole assortment of people start to bang. So one thing's for sure, right? They would, a person do not draw this concept. Like they always give the dark-skinned man red lips. And so this means that these people had access to something that's rare. And that is drugs. In particular, cat. Cat is a drug in which some type of leaf and betel nut is mixed with tobacco or any other type of substance and chewed, and it turns the mouth red. It turns the teeth, the tongue, the lips, the mouth red, with the chemical reaction going inside when that leaf is chewed with certain things, right? And so it causes euphoria, and it causes something similar to cocaine, from what I hear. But long-term use drives people insane. And so it's possible that insanity due to long-term drug use was partial blame for their overthrow in the world. And this is why their overthrow in the world is celebrated. Now, this Tibet at the bottom, and Tibet, why would Tibet show these black people as fallen stars with their blonde hair and their red lips, but show them as fallen, and they celebrating that? That's their tradition. Tibet, do y'all know how far Tibet is? And so there it is in Spain, where it's the ousting of the Moors that they're celebrating. And then there it is in Peru, where they're having some type of outdoor festival, and they too are celebrating. All have black skin, all have red lips. And the blonde hair is in Peru and Tibet, and they do got gold incorporated in Spain, right? So all the clues there, they're talking about the same people. And so these people was depicted as being evil. So the evil Aboriginal leaders of the world is basically what every nation that we would call Gentiles now is petrified or scared of, and are saying that they're preventing from ever reoccurring again. And so, though there's no black people in Asia, in these far off indigenous places of Chinese people things, places far like Tibet, still remember a type of stereotype for black people, man. China on the left also do the same shit. So that's the same thing. That shit could be Tibet too, though, because that shit, they look too similar. But they go Japan in the middle. Racist son of a bitch. Japan in the middle. So here go, that's America, the United States in the middle. That's Europe on the left. And that's Tibet again. Tibet got a lot of racist shit to get off their chest. That's Nepal, Tibet, Himalayas. And so the Himalayas, the Mongolians, I don't know if the Mongolians really do anything. It don't matter. But the Koreans and Tibetans be really doing it. And so they talk about black people when they talk about these images as well, according to what we've seen. And I'm not saying, oh, they're talking about black people. I'm talking about, they're talking about the first people. They're talking about a real version of the ancient types of people in which these images is based off of, these characters. And so they're reminding you that it all does come from melanated people. And this is how they depict melanated people, with red lips. So they talking about they talking about that fish people is real. All right, they're saying that hairy people is real. They're saying reptilian people is real. They're saying that women possessed is real. They're saying that monsters are real. And this concept come from what ancient scientists was coming up with. Now, who's the first ancient scientist? Right? And so the concept of writing and language and stuff can be found with an unknown origin. There's things found on cave walls that are clearly an unknown language. And, what you see here is different places in the world and different times on the timeline. So I think the oldest thing here would be the Egyptian or the American. But it's interesting that they both kind of like is ancient, but there's a controversy on who's really the first when it comes to existing, but not really, right? Because we got evidence that the Maiti people came from America and helped out what was going on here in Africa, and that's the Chitauri, and that's the story from Cradle Mutwa. And so the concepts of reptilian beings coming and becoming overlords and changing up humanity is the whole thing. But see, it originated with insectoids, and here we know of the ant people, and so America is the source. to a lot of things, but also it was connected to the ancient world. But now they tell us that nobody know about each other. That's pretty hard to believe. And so if you notice that picture in the top middle, you see those black dots. Those black dots are the note that he's a king. He's a prince. He's of the royal family. He's holding a fasces. He's holding a fasces. And so we can tell that the concept of a fasces originate in America. And that people in Europe began to use that shit based off of what was already going on here in America. Because don't that make sense? The Phoenicians came from America. So the whatever was ruling Rome, by the time that they was getting ruled, it was the same people. The same people run the world. And they come from these American families. Because how else would explain that this constant truth is living throughout all these ages? There's no stop to it. The picture in the middle is no longer just a racist picture. It's a picture purposefully placed there to continue the legacy seen in these other pictures. They say it's racist. It is racist. And when anybody paint themselves another color of another race and try to make fun of them and mock them, that shit racist. But it's talking about racial things. It's talking about racial things. And so y'all notice that Bill Clinton, he's not painted. He's a white boy. Right? And so he's with Hillary, and she a black woman. And that's some shit. Like, they do that shit as a thrill because they know they don't want to fight. Like, they can't fight. They just know they didn't get away with that shit. They just know they'll get away with that shit. It's a thrill. Y'all see them Karens get their ass punched? It's like they just be wanting somebody to touch on this shit. They just be wanting somebody to knock their shit loose. Right. They would haul ass if somebody who came through and was like, look, no, we ain't doing that. That shit racist as fuck. Yo, Europe is racist. I'm telling y'all what they is. They from the interior of the earth. They're from far away. They basically they're destroying the earth and the people if they can. And we got God on their side. On our side, not on their side. We got God on our side. Like, this a whole nother European country. This is Sweden. This is Spain. That's America. Right? That's Tibet. That's Korea. That's China. That's Japan. That's Peru. So basically, all these people are saying this about the same people. Right? That's Spain. That's Scandinavia, that's Norwegian, Sweden, and shit. I forgot where exactly. This is one of them famous fashion designers. This is one of them famous fashion designers. I don't know what their name is, but this same type of people is known for like stuffing people and turning them into mannequins. These same people is related to the type of people that will skin somebody and wear their skin for clothes, for ornaments, to make handbags and shit out of their skin. Shit like that. Like they make houses off bones, right? They eat raw meat and shit. You know what I mean? They crazy as hell. So that's their nature. And then you get these evil abos that get these drugs in their system. And they start going away from God. It's just it become a total devastation of potential when it comes to civilization that could have been if had it not be for these sinners, which nowadays, you know, promoting sinners. So sinners get the Oscar. Like they're not blessed, right? They sinners. Yeah, I know it wasn't about that, but they're using that word. And so that's Ryan Coogler. He trying to get paid off sinners, but would they give him the award? This is from Peru on the right. I think he should say he don't want that bitch, but then he'll be canceled out the industry. I think that he gonna lose maybe because they just gonna toy with him. They're not gonna say he's successful. They're not gonna say he's successful. Like I don't believe it. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like what did they say about Prince Hall? They said no. Right? Why is China doing that? Why is China doing that? Why America did that? Like this shit racist. See, they don't got no content. They gotta be racist. Look how you got the pointy ears and shit. They got like he a robot, yeah. So they don't know black people. So this shit right here, racist. This shit right here, racist. This shit right here, racist. Right? This shit right here, racist. It's everything about races because only of the system. They said that there was a shadow government that exists maybe to promote a race amongst multiple races. So now it become a racist thing. Like it's a racist situation. At first, it was that these people was the rulers and they was the hierarchy, the elites. And then, because of whatever reason, that status was flipped. And it appears the shit happens from time to time throughout eons where the tides change and new people come about. Why he look like Pusha T over here? New people come about pushing their little temporary thing, and then they be out, and then there's some next shit going on. And so everybody with these symbols on is a fucking op. And there ain't no way about it. I don't know why people is like claiming these monkeys, but that's just what they is. All of them is a type of chimp, and I don't even care. I don't even care if they don't agree with my science. But they the ones that echo the concept of Darwinism that came from a monkey. And so shit, that's what they believe. They out here saying that they cross can make vampires turn away. They talking about black Jews because that's who the fuck is the rich families in America, the Aboriginal, evil Aboriginals is connected families. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z didn't have no background in the streets, you know, with early albums or anything. He just showed up on the scene as if he had paid his way through to make sure that he'll get pushed. And so when you see these people that actually is the stars or the person that's in charge, they are automatically a part of a satanic cult. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And so we need to just, or I'm going to give y'all the opportunity to realize that this is what the industry really always was. And that's what it is right now until it stops, until it's over, and until it's like, look, OTO owns all the degrees that the Freemasons have. And so really OTO looked like they said no to the Prince Hall. But OTO, you know what I'm saying, might be trying to get themselves out there now that the Freemasons did them like they did. Right. So the Prince Hall is like, they just named Prince Hall. Like that's just some shit. They kind of like Freemasons according to Europeans. So now they gotta like listen, you know, incorporate, or what they got? They got Hamid Suleiman's teachings. And so I don't think that the OTO got Hamid Suleiman shit. They might got all the European stuff, but they ain't got Hamid Suleiman's stuff. And so that would make the Prince Hall, you know, basically secretly desired by these others, but they don't want the Prince Hall to know what they value. And so they OTO probably orchestrated that vote so that the Prince Hallians will be more susceptible to wanting to tell their secrets to the OTO, because they don't have nothing to share with white Freemasonries in the United States. You know what I'm saying? So when you see this is OTO back then. He was a Lester Crowley before that shit was known as OTO and shit. I don't even know. Well, yeah, he did make OTO. See, but people wasn't pushing it or knowing it like that. That was really the secret society in America when it came to Hollywood and the producers and all that shit. That sex magic shit is OTO. And so Lester Crowley really was the main guy behind the satanic Hollywood industry. And so he probably came up with why they do things the way they do the things they do now. And so when we see Babyface over here, his name Babyface, and now I see him, he's just as dangerous as Baby and Little Baby and Scarface and whatever dumbass name. Like, he's just as much of a criminal as any other participant in the industry, man. Straight up. What people gonna do when there ain't no celebrity that's on the level? Damn. What people gonna do, man? Like, look, I don't even, you know what I mean? Like Babyface with the chain, like, look, there's probably some drugs in that shit. There's probably drugs in there. That's what they do. They be putting drugs in their jewelry and they just trying to get high and on camera at the same time. I don't know what's wrong with these people, man. It's like they do things that ain't even regular. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't even some shit that a real person would do. Like this shit become a damn spectacle. That's kind of why, you know what I mean? Like it's a love hate because I want to see motherfuckers going around on a mountain climbing and shit. Show me what the fuck the top of the Himalaya look like. Put a camera on and tell them go up there. You know what I mean? They're like camels and shit. Motherfuckers like, look, this meatball is he's the donkey, or he's the type beast that is like said he was a beast since he was a baby. Like he was a rapper and shit. When it come to that occult shit, he said he was a part of every single thing you could think about that the white people came up with. And he mastered all that shit, he said, and came up with his own shit that was a copy of some German shit that was going on. I forgot the name of them. It was a term that they used for another version of the Covina. I forgot the term they used, but it was a group off in Germany that was basically a secret gay sex club. And they basically was like, nah, well, OTO, he took Lester took that idea, remixed it, brought it to the United States, and the Freemasons in the United States did not accept his degrees. And so he went and turned it into the OTO. And then he planted that shit amongst the celebrities and the elites. And then after some time, the OTO it had more prestigious members and richer members. And so OTO became more financially and more influential than Freemasons on their own, right? And so perhaps Illuminati too. So it's basically like it's like a sex magic. That's where the sex magic come from. And so that's why these people out here, they is out here doing rituals when they doing pedophile shit. And places like Epstein Island is the places where they perform on rituals where they murder babies. They murder children, they do that, they Satanists. They might even be, you know what I mean? It's like they do all them things that you see them in hell doing in them pictures. They eating people, they is doing things, shit like that. And they want to be able to walk around humans like in regular places and that don't have that experience and be predators. They want the feeling that they're strong because they worship Satan, and they want to be able to stand there and think that they intimidate people or that people should treat them differently because they do things that people don't know about. And so people, it's like they love theyself. It's vanity because they know a thing, and then they act differently to others because they see themselves as higher up or as haughty and shit against them and shit. And it's like this man said he mastered all the things that came with occult information, and then he created his own shit. And so it's the same shit that happened when Blavatsky did it. And, later on, L. Ron Hubbard did it. And so once you get like some type of knowledge, then depending on how much you have of it, you could just turn it into a grift. You could like sell some shit. You could change a narrative. You could like support a narrative because you have publication support. That shit gonna get out there. And back in the days when Run DMC was out, it was about getting signed. People never heard about getting signed to a record label to do what Run DMC was doing, rapping. Because remember, that was some shit that happened at parties, and it was a cultural experience. It was a cultural thing that happened. And basically somebody had, turned it into where, well, we could sell records of this music. These are songs. These are things that came out. And then they control what come out. And so they said Run DMC, they dressed them up and everything probably. Like they all know what to do, and that's basically what it is. That's OTO. That's Aleister Crowley. You know what I'm saying? That's what they doing. Look, he even got his daughters doing the same shit. That's Aleister Crowley. They OTO. And that's the secret gang. And they ain't gonna do nothing about this stuff. They on that type of time. Look at that. Now, isn't that straight to the point? Damn, son. My bad. My bad. So yes, the human sacrifice. This is what we showed earlier. It's the same shit, but this is like the death of the sun god. He's supposed to rise again the next day. And so here it is where, and then by the way, again, that's Konnichiwa is the name of the sun god. And in Japan, they say Konnichiwa to say greetings. And you see it's a white background with a red dot. And that is where Japan get their flag from. Right. And so here it is where this concept of fire, they're using the same colors. This gold, black, and red is used for the Slavics, for the Ku Klux Klan, and for this fake Jesus image. And what you see in America is the same symbol you see in Japan. They call it the portal of God or the shrine of heaven or something like that. Totem, something like, I forgot what they call that shit. But that's come from ancient Oceania. And so talking about sacrifices, right? And so recently there was news that, new reports had found that Kurt Cobain most likely met his demise to foul play and not a suicide, because toxicology reports show that he was too intoxicated to have killed himself and wrote that letter and pulled the trigger and all this and that. And so I've been saying for years that I think Dave Grohl had something to do with it. And, I never followed Kurt Cobain when he was alive. You know what I'm saying? I was into the hip hop and R&B and all that shit at that time. So Kurt Cobain was not my culture. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Cobain was got nothing to do with me. He had Teen Spirit when he was alive. I remember seeing Teen Spirit. And to be honest, I seen him like how people might look at someone that just like is a disgrace. And like he just dirty and shit. Like a caveman. Like he reminded me of like a caveman for real. Because in Teen Spirit, he had like his hair was all in his face and shit, so you couldn't really see his face. But it had like a catchy groove and beat to it. Like it was a catchy song, but it was like looking at a caveman though. And so I had just accepted it for like something like that, where I had basically spiritually named him a caveman, but was cool with the music because it was just like that's just was his shit. I had a dream about him after he had died, and I don't think I knew it was him at the time. You know what I'm saying? But I had started to listen to his music after he died, because they had played his music all the time everywhere and shit. So I had began like on all the stations except for the the basically the hip hop clone, or I don't even saw the hip hop clone, but it's a R&B and hip hop station. It was called 102 Jams, right? And we had the Quiet Storm. We had Bartel. You know what I'm saying? We had, you know what I'm saying? It was like it was what everything's supposed to have been for us. It was like BET on the radio, for real. And it was BET at the times. Like during them times, you had In Living Color was just a new show. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like it was supposed to be what it was supposed to be, man. And when he had, we had seen him and something happened to him and shit, they played his music all the time. And so I had a dream. I believe it was sometime after. And in the dream, I was driving around looking for somewhere, like looking for what next to do. Like kind of like I could see the whole neighborhood, and I could like kind of like I was driving on a board, and I was just like, what is there for me to do? Was like kind of like the notion. And so I had went to this mountain. I had drove to this mountain and had walked up to the top of this mountain or drove up to it. But I had appeared at the top of this mountain, and then there was this UFO there. And there was this, I believe it was him, right? He was in a white suit, and he didn't say anything to me, but it was just like I seen that he was there. And I was close. Like I had pulled up. It's like I said, let me start over. So in this dream, I was like as if I was driving around looking what the next to get into, right? Type shit. And so I was thinking about my broad options across the city or whatever. I got this mental map. And so the next thing I know, I'm like driving to the top of this hill or this mountain that was like in a desert. It was like a desert mountain. It was like off in the desert and shit. And what happened? So I had pulled up, and it was just like me at the scene. I can't tell you like what the car was. It's just like it went from me driving around thinking about what I'm doing, but I'm outside the car looking down at it from a distance. You understand? So then the next thing I know, it's like I had pulled up. Now it's first person view where I'm at the top of this mountain. I go up the top of this mountain like real quickly and appear at the top of this mountain. Not at like no pinnacle triangle, but it was like a desert mountain. And on the top, there was this UFO, and it had legs sitting on this place, like on this mountain, right? Like a plateau, whatever. And so it was silver, and he was standing there next to it. And I left, you know what I'm saying? And went back to So my bad, my bad. So yeah, so I ain't get in the spaceship. I wasn't interested in the spaceship. I just saw him. I was just like, how does white boy get a spaceship? Uh, you know what I'm saying? I always knew that he was done wrong, though, right? I always knew he was done wrong. Like he wouldn't have killed himself. And I thought all that shit was just fake. This shit was around time Biggie and Tupac got shot. So it's just like, you know, all these people dying at the same time. They were celebrities and they were playing their music. And so it was like, I thought it was Dave Grohl. He came out with this group called Foo Fighters and shit. Pixel T, what's up with you, Pixel T? Peace and salutes to you, Queen. What's good? So I think that's the dude with the hat on that killed Buddy. You know what I'm saying? And so I think he did that shit to turn himself into a rock star. He looked like McLovin from Superbad. And so I think it's a clear example of the type of snakeage that go on with the industry. Like when they do it to each other, it's like, all right, this is what when European descendants be using them that Harry Potter shit on each other. And you got it to where Dave Grohl basically is like this person that uses sorcery to take away Kurt Cobain's life. You know, and then he come out with this group called Foo Fighters. Yeah. So they all doing the stink eye. And they all doing the symbolisms. Look what he got on his shirt. Some skulls and bones. And so ain't this the guy that said that he was wearing the shirt, do as thou wilt. He is having a Lester Crowley's name on the shirt. Not his name, but his slogan. He had his slogan on his shirt. Do as thou wilt. And now look, they said he was at the Epstein Island. He was at Epstein Island doing all them hand symbols and shit. And that's it, man. That's it, man. We good. Appreciate everybody. We're going I don't appreciate everybody, but no, I'm just saying I'm signaling that it's over. Presentation is now over. The presentation is now over. Let's see how much time that was on the clock. 2 hours and 6 minutes, 50 seconds. That's what's good, man. Yep. We're gonna be out here. Is there any questions? Is there any questions? We'll leave a couple of minutes for the questions. That was pretty good, man. That's pretty good. That was 100 slides. That was 100 slides. 99. Maybe 99 to 100 slides. That's good. That's 100 slides, man. A piece of Salute to the Realest. I'm just, you know what I mean? We just landing. We just landing. We might do an after party. Might do an after party. Probably not. Anyways, man. Yeah, man. I hope y'all learned some. I hope it was entertaining.